This is area of rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, trapezoids, and circles. So let's first look at some of the formulas. The easiest one to start with is a rectangle. Key parts of that rectangle is that it's got four right angles. So you our formula there is area equals length times width, and that's only because the length and the width form 90-degree angles with each other. So we simply say length times width because the length and the width form 90-degree angles. So that's it. You take the two sides that make a right angle and multiply them together, and you get your area of a triangle. So I'll give you an example. We have this rectangle here, and this is 8 inches, and this is 5 inches. To find the area, you would do 8 times 5, which is 40, and then we label it as inches squared. So area is the inside. It's how much space, it takes up. So we're talking about everything on the inside. So again, the 5 and the 8 form 90-degree angles, so we just have to do 8 times 5, get 40, and label it correctly, 40 inches squared. Okay. Next, let's take a look at parallelograms. So parallelograms are four-sided figures, and their sides do not form right angles. Now, a rectangle is a parallelogram. It's a special kind in that it has four right angles, but a parallelogram that's not a rectangle would look like that, so you have no right angles. So to find the area, the formula is area equals base times height. B equals base, and H equals height. And the important part to remember here is that base and height form a 90-degree angle. So if they're giving you measurements of several different sides, the only two you're concerned with are the two sides that make a right angle. So as you notice, in this parallelogram, no sides form a right angle at all. Okay, so if they were to say, let's see, on the parallelogram, they'll give you this little dotted line there, or sometimes they might put it outside like that. Okay, but they'll give you a side that forms a right angle. And those are the two sides that you are most concerned with. So if I gave a parallelogram and we had, say this was 6, I know this is not the scale, but say 6 feet and 13 feet. Okay, these are the two sides that we want. That's our base and our height. I'm sorry. Let's flip this around here. So 6 feet and then 13 feet. So we know that the side that's 6 forms a right angle with the bottom there that's 13. So the 6 and the 13 are our base and our height. They're the two sides that form a right angle. So all we have to do is multiply those two sides together. 13 times 6 would give us 78. So 78 feet squared. Okay. So the formula for the area of a parallelogram, area equals base times height, and the base and the height form 90-degree angles. That's how you know they're the base and the height. So if they gave us this measurement, said that this was 7 feet, we do not need the 7 feet measurement at all. We need the 6 and the 13 because they are the ones that form a right angle. All right? Let's look at a triangle now. So a triangle, a lot of you notice that a triangle is half of a parallelogram. So the formula for a parallelogram was area equals base times height. And so if a triangle is half of a parallelogram, then its formula is area equals 1/2 times base times height, or area equals base times height divided by 2. Multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. And once again, base and height have to form a right angle. So in this triangle here, if these two sides form a right angle, if I say that this is 8 and this is 8 and this is 9, we're only concerned with the two sides that form a right angle, and that is the 8 and the 8. So we would say area equals 1/2 times 8 times 8. And when you multiply those three numbers together, you'll find that the area equals 32. And if I give these some units, say centimeters, then it would be 32 centimeters squared. Now, if you have a triangle that has two sides that don't form a right angle, so say something like this, so you have no right angles there, and let's say this side's 5 feet, this side is 4.5 feet, and this side is 7 feet. Okay, as is, we wouldn't be able to solve this, so they're going to give us this measurement here, forming a right angle at the bottom there, and let's say that that's 3 feet. So what are the two sides that we're most concerned with in this triangle? We're concerned with the two sides that form a right angle. So our base and our height always form a right angle. So 4.5 and 7 do not form a right angle. 5 and 7 do not form an angle. So this is our height. The 3 feet forms a right angle with 7 feet. So we need the 3 feet and the 7 feet. So we would say that area equals 1/2 times 3 times 7. If you multiply all of those together, you'll get 10.5 feet squared. That's it for a triangle. Okay, and again, triangles are half of a parallelogram. So half base times height, or base times height divided by 2. All right, next is a trapezoid, and this is what a trapezoid looks like. Okay, trapezoids have one pair of parallel sides, as you can see here. It's the top and the bottom that are parallel to each other. So the formula for a trapezoid is area equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay, so base 1 and base 2 sounds complicated, but it's not. You have two bases, and those are your parallel sides. They're your parallel sides. So you're just adding your parallel sides together, and then multiply times 1/2 and multiply times h. So if I give these some measurements, if I said this is 5 centimeters and this is 9 centimeters, okay? Now, base and height still have to form a right angle. So you see 5 and 9 do not form right angles with these sides there. So we would get another measurement like that, and let's say that that was 4 centimeters. And there you go. So the 4 forms a right angle with both the 5 and the 9. Since they're parallel, if it's 90-degree angle with one, it has to be a 90-degree angle with the other. So to set this one up, we would say area equals 1/2 times our height, which is 4, times base 1, which is 5, plus base 2, which is 9. And again, it doesn't matter which one you call base 1 or which one you call base 2. You're adding them both together anyways. So we continue on our math. Area equals 1/2 times 4 times, and in parentheses we have 14. Half of 4 is 2, and 2 times 14 is 28. So area equals 28 centimeters squared. Okay, when you multiply all three of those numbers together, you'll get 28 centimeters squared. So again, the important part there, understand base and height have to form a 90-degree angle. That's how you know they're the base and the height. The only difference with trapezoids than triangles and parallelograms is that you have two bases, and you know they're the bases because they are the two sides that are parallel to each other. And the last one for area is a circle. So in a circle, you have that measurement, or you have the measurement that goes all the way across. Okay, so the formula is area equals pi r squared. So the green line here, this line is your radius. And the blue line here is your diameter. Okay, so radius is halfway across, diameter is all the way across. So we have to pay attention to what measurement, that they're giving us here. So if we have a circle like this, and the radius is 4, then we would say area equals pi times 4 squared. Now, typically, we'll use 3.14 for pi. Pi equals 3.14. That's generally the number we'll use. You can also use the pi button in your calculator. It'll change your answers a little bit, but 3.14 times 4 squared would give us an answer of 50.24 for the area. And if it was in 4 inches, then we would say inches squared. It is still area. We're talking about everything on the inside. Okay? Now, what happens if they give us the diameter? We have a circle. They go all the way across, and this tells us that that is 12 feet across. Okay, so our formula again is area equals pi r squared. So if they give us the diameter, which is 12, then how far is it halfway across? If all the way across is 12, what's halfway across? Halfway across would be 6. So our area would equal pi times 6 squared. And again, just type that into your calculator. Use 3.14 for pi times the 6 squared, and you'll get 113.04 feet squared. That's it. I hope that helps.